Book lovers and readers are different demographics. People who love books might love the way the medium helps them feel grounded, and they might notice things like the paper type, the thickness, the weight, the texture, the tearability, the font size, the ink color, the illustrations, the smell, the cover, the jacket, the edge illustrations, etc. Those are qualities of a physical product that ideally would support the experience of navigating whatever is being read, or whatever is being intentionally described in that format. I grew up reading mostly expository texts, and I was really interested in self help books. Three books off the top of my head: The Art of Conversation, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Object Oriented Programming in C++. I remember reading these books because I was curious about the information inside, and I often read WikiHow or online articles about the topics also. C++ as a computer language invites the forum aspect of engaging with those topics. Novels don't necessarily have the same ecosystem structure because the reasons why people engage with the contents of those books are different. Readers might prefer novels because of the linear form, but those don't necessarily need to be physical books. There's a linguistic concept called prosody, which is kind of like the poetry of a language. Novels with paragraphs describe structured forms that people can access, they can recognize, they can find pacing and attune to it. Ebooks can capture a lot of this poetry, and when people are immersed in the words that they're reading, they can imagine navigating that fluently. Some people are going to need physical books to ground their experience navigating language. Physical books exist in three dimensions, Physical books exist in more than three dimensions, especially as we consider our senses. It's easy to consider the width, height, and volume of a book, and different concepts that we experience on the pages are located in different parts of that cube. Also, books develop over time. We have different relationships with the media. I'm kind of curious about custom books. I know enough authors with ecosystems as old as mine. My oldest project is 9. 10 actually. Gets kind of fuzzy. But I know enough authors with ecosystems that are that old, and I don't know, I guess some of the nostalgia of when the concepts emerged in our lives can be described with the reasons why we revisit them. So I'm going to be focusing less on novelty and more on extending a relationship to ecosystems. Why do artists spend time developing skills that not many other people have language to describe? Then, how can we connect the meaning of engagement with the structures that we navigate towards adulthood? Part of this is because of the ways that I've pursued contextualizing meaning in academia. I've found the theory of academia useful but challenging to navigate in the moment, and having experience actually putting business practices into action, like seeing which things are successful, has been huge. I can talk about how I've used the things that I've learned in college, but the world is a little bit different now. If you're in college, you should learn things that you're interested in, and I'll try to teach you the stuff that I know. If you're not in college, you should still learn the stuff that you're interested in, and I'll also teach you the stuff that I know. Different capacities will make it easier to give you more useful pointers, and that depends on what you're looking for. College textbooks combined with your experience and emotion years after graduating or leaving college kind of sets the tone for what you think about books. It's a great relationship to have, and if you aren't very interested, or if you aren't interested at all, you aren't necessarily going to pass it on to your children. If your children don't have a relationship to books or reading, then it's not very likely they're going to have the skills associated with those media. And as people in community with parents, it's important for us to provide support structures so they can navigate them with their children. So I advocate for reading and writing and illustrating physical books, also ebooks, and describing how literacy can form a relationship with so many experiences. So many details, so many experiences. Anyway, cheers.